From the moment I was old enough to understand the world around me, I felt out of place. Growing up, I always found myself on the outside looking in. Friends came easily enough, but there was always a certain distance, a gap between what I was and what I thought I should be. I longed for the easy camaraderie I saw in others, the sense of belonging that seemed to come so naturally to everyone else. As I moved through life, the longing grew stronger. I wanted to fit in, to find a place where I could be myself, find true friends, a fulfilling job, and, most of all, someone to love and share my life with. I wanted a good relationship with my family, something I'd never really had. I wanted to feel complete. My name is Taryn, and for years, I struggled to find that elusive sense of belonging. I bounced from job to job, city to city, always searching for the right fit, but nothing ever seemed to work out. My friendships were shallow, my relationships short-lived, and my connection with my family was strained, to say the least. I had all but given up on ever finding my place in the world when I stumbled across the idea of manifestation. It was a late night, and I was scrolling through videos online, looking for something, anything, that might give me a sense of direction. That's when I came across a video by Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talked about the power of the mind, how our thoughts and feelings create our reality, and how by changing our internal world, we could change our external world. I was skeptical at first. It sounded like wishful thinking, a way to ignore the harsh realities of life. But something about his words stuck with me. I dug deeper, finding more resources from other teachers like Neville Goddard, Abraham Hicks, and others. They all echoed the same message: we are the creators of our own reality. At first, I didn't fully understand it, but the more I read and listened, the more it started to make sense. It wasn't just about positive thinking. It was about aligning my thoughts, emotions, and actions with what I truly wanted in life. It was about believing deep down that I was deserving of the things I desired. I decided to give it a try. After all, what did I have to lose? My life wasn't exactly going the way I wanted it to, and I was tired of feeling like I didn't belong. I started small, with daily affirmations and visualizations. Every morning, I would look at myself in the mirror and repeat affirmations: I am worthy of love and belonging. I attract true friends, a fulfilling job, and a loving relationship. I am connected to my family in a deep and meaningful way. At first, it felt awkward, like I was lying to myself. But I kept at it, knowing that change wouldn't happen overnight. Along with the affirmations, I began to visualize my ideal life. I would close my eyes and picture myself surrounded by friends who genuinely cared about me, working at a job that fulfilled me, and being in a loving relationship with someone who understood me completely. I saw myself reconnecting with my family, laughing together, and enjoying each other's company. I focused on the feelings of joy, love, and contentment that these images brought up in me, as if they were already real. But it wasn't just about thinking and feeling. I knew I had to take action as well. Dr. Joe Dispenza often talked about living as if your desires have already manifested, so I began to make changes in my life. I started reaching out to old friends, making an effort to connect on a deeper level. I volunteered for projects at work that I was passionate about, even if they were outside of my usual responsibilities. I signed up for social events, even though I usually preferred to stay home. I wanted to show the universe that I was ready for the changes I was asking for. One of the first things I noticed was a shift in my relationship with my family. My parents and I had always had a difficult relationship, but as I continued with my manifestation practices, things began to change. I found myself less reactive to their criticisms, more patient with their quirks. And slowly but surely they began to change too. My father, who had always been distant, started calling me more often. My mother, who never seemed to understand me, began to ask about my life and showed genuine interest. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. Encouraged by these small successes, I decided to focus more on my social life. I wanted to attract true friends, people who would support me and accept me for who I was. I started visualizing myself surrounded by a group of friends, laughing, having fun, and sharing meaningful conversations. I saw myself being invited to events, going on trips, and feeling a deep sense of connection with the people around me. Around this time, I came across Neville Goddard's teachings about living in the end. He talked about imagining your desired reality as if it had already come true, feeling the emotions you would feel if it were real. I began to incorporate this into my daily routine, spending time each day imagining my ideal social life. I would close my eyes and see myself at a party, surrounded by friends, laughing and having a great time. I would feel the joy, the warmth, the sense of belonging, as if it were happening right then and there. It didn't take long for things to start changing. I began to meet new people, often in the most unexpected ways. I would strike up a conversation with someone in a coffee shop, or run into an old acquaintance at the grocery store, and before I knew it, we were making plans to hang out. I started receiving invitations to parties and events, and slowly but surely, I began to build a circle of friends who genuinely cared about me. These weren't just surface-level friendships, they were deep, meaningful connections that filled my life with joy and laughter. As my social life began to flourish, I turned my attention to my career. I had always wanted a job that was fulfilling, something that made me feel like I was making a difference in the world. But for years, I had settled for jobs that paid the bills but left me feeling empty inside. I knew I needed to make a change, so I started visualizing myself in my dream job. I saw myself working in a creative, dynamic environment, surrounded by people who shared my passion and drive. I imagined myself waking up each morning excited to go to work, knowing that I was doing something that mattered. I also began to take steps to make this vision a reality. I updated my resume, started networking, and applied for jobs that aligned with my passions. At the same time, I continued my manifestation practices, focusing on the feelings of fulfillment and satisfaction that my ideal job would bring. One day, I came across a job posting that seemed perfect for me. It was for a position at a nonprofit organization that focused on environmental conservation, something I had always been passionate about. The job description was everything I had been visualizing: creative work, a collaborative team, and a mission that aligned with my values. I applied for the position, and to my delight, I was invited for an interview. The interview process was intense, but I went in with the mindset that the job was already mine. I had spent weeks visualizing myself in that role, feeling the excitement and satisfaction that came with it. When I sat down with the hiring manager, I spoke with confidence and passion, knowing that I was exactly what they were looking for. A few days later, I received the call. I got the job. I was ecstatic. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was on the right path, doing work that was meaningful and fulfilling. My days were filled with creativity and purpose, and I found myself surrounded by colleagues who were just as passionate about our mission as I was. With my career and social life finally in a good place, I turned my attention to the one area that had always eluded me: love. I had been in relationships before, but they never seemed to work out. I often felt like I was trying to fit into a mold that wasn't meant for me, and my partners could sense it. I wanted to find someone who would love me for who I was, someone who shared my values and dreams. I began to visualize my ideal partner, focusing on the qualities that were important to me: kindness, compassion, a sense of humor, and a shared passion for life. I imagined us spending time together, enjoying each other's company, and supporting each other in our goals. I focused on the feelings of love, joy, and connection that this relationship would bring into my life. At the same time, I worked on myself, making sure that I was ready for the kind of relationship I wanted. I practiced self-love and self-care, knowing that I needed to be whole on my own before I could attract the right person into my life. I also continued to live as if my partner was already there, making room for them in my life both physically and emotionally. It wasn't long before I met someone who seemed to be exactly what I had been manifesting. His name was Ethan, and we met at a friend's party. From the moment we started talking, there was an instant connection. We shared the same values, the same sense of humor, and a love for adventure. As we spent more time together, it became clear that this was the relationship I had been visualizing. Ethan and I quickly became inseparable. We went on hikes, traveled to new places, and supported each other in our personal and professional lives. It was the kind of relationship I had always dreamed of, one that was built on mutual respect, love, and understanding. And the best part was, it felt completely natural, like we were meant to be together. As my relationship with Ethan blossomed, my connection with my family continued to improve. I made an effort to spend more time with them, and they responded in kind. We started having regular family dinners, where we would talk and laugh, something we hadn't done in years. My parents began to see me for who I really was, and our relationship became more open and honest. For the first time in my life, I felt like I had a family that truly cared about me. Looking back on my journey, it's hard to believe how much my life has changed. I went from feeling lost and out of place to living a life that I had always dreamed of. I have a fulfilling job, true friends, a loving relationship, and a strong connection with my family. And it all started with the simple decision to change my thoughts and beliefs. Manifestation isn't magic, it's about aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your desires. It's about believing that you are worthy of the things you want and taking the steps to make them a reality. I used to think that I was at the mercy of the world, that I had to accept whatever life threw at me. But now I know that I am the creator of my own reality. I have the power to shape my life in any way I choose, and that knowledge has made all the difference. If there's one thing I've learned from this journey, it's that you don't have to settle for a life that doesn't fulfill you. You don't have to accept being on the outside looking in. With the right mindset and the right tools, you can create the life you've always wanted. It won't always be easy, and it won't happen overnight, but it is possible. My journey is far from over. I know there will be challenges ahead, and I know that I'll have to keep working on myself and my beliefs. But now, I have the confidence and the tools to face whatever comes my way. I know that I am capable of creating the life I want, and that knowledge has given me a sense of peace and contentment that I never thought possible. As I continue on this path, I am filled with gratitude for all the teachers and mentors who have helped me along the way, from Dr. Joe Dispenza to Neville Goddard and everyone in between. Their teachings have transformed my life, and I am forever grateful for the wisdom they have shared. And to anyone who feels lost or out of place, I want to say this: you have the power to change your life. You have the power to create the reality you want. Believe in yourself, and don't be afraid to take that first step. Your dreams are waiting for you.